Hello and welcome back to the U Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. So good to be back here with you, Jordana. How are you? What's going on? To let the listeners know, we like to be transparent. We're taping the day after. We doubled up this week to get ahead because I'm going to be in Vancouver. I will have already been in Vancouver. So it was just going to be tough to work that out next week. And so this is a get ahead. And we are I'm not going to ski. I'm going a night early. I'm flying there on my birthday, and I think I get in at night, so I'll maybe do a nice dinner with my date, my phone.
Okay. Do you think your phone's going to come in hot with a gift?
I hope so. Maybe. Maybe the phone will treat me. Hopefully.
Want some new lingerie, new case?
New case. Ooh. Shimmery. Yeah, new case. This joke is funny, but it's sad how true it is. So I'm going a night early. I'm flying first class.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
VIP birthday treatment. You and the phone. Did
the
you get
phone
its own seat?
I got the phone. Its own lie down seat. You can board after me with the Comfort Plus people. No, it's
Mile High Club.
We will be fucking on that flight. Me and this phone. So this is the week after I was in Vancouver. Thank you to everyone that came. If you're in Irvine, California, I'm coming. That's a big room to fill. I hope there's more than 5 people. And then I'm coming to, if I can just give the dates off the top. Irvine, Indianapolis, Spokane, Oklahoma City. Then I head to Europe. So Europe people, come on out. Nashville date got changed to later in the summer, but I'm still coming to Nashville. JaredFreed.com for tickies. We just added Louisville, Kentucky, adding dates all the time. So if you're just out there listening, go check my website, JaredFreed.com. How are you?
I'm good. Since yesterday, nothing new.
I have stories aplenty.
Yeah, you have. I mean, that's the thing about single people have a lot more stories.
Right.
A lot more interesting lives.
We have many more variables.
Yeah.
The variables are, I always say this with comedians are always there's a lot of complaints about people in the audience. If they yell out, I don't like when people yell out. I like when people yell out with awareness, when they're fun about it, and then they can fucking shut the fuck up.
When to, that's really the thing, is knowing when to stop.
Right. There was a woman I did a show for Gilda's Club. It's a charity for cancer last night. A fun fucking show. It was such a fun show, but it had action. I was in the middle of a bit about my mom, and I mentioned I made a fake Jewish name. I use Lauren Chernowitz.
Okay.
I don't know a Lauren Chernowitz. I just use it in the bit. And this woman just yells out, she's like, "It's Lauren Abramowitz. I know her." And I go,
who?
I was like, first of all, no, you don't know her. But it was a fun moment because then I just made fun of this woman. I was like, there's my Jewish mom. She comes to every show. She's correcting me on the name. It turned into this fun moment. And it's always fun to make fun of someone in the audience when they're laughing at themselves. They're like, yeah, that was stupid.
Yeah.
You could see it.
They have to be self-deprecating a little bit.
Right. She took the shit, and her friends are like, yeah, she is the annoying mom Jew. We
hate her too.
Right. This is what she does. And, it was a nice, fun moment. The bad moment is when you make fun of her and they go, no, and they start defending themselves just because they're a little embarrassed. Right. But
why even come to a comedy show then?
Because people, this is what I'm talking about. I with the variables, if people get mad, it's because most people generally, and again, relationship single, if you're in a relationship, you see same partner, you know what to expect from them. You go, and most people go into an office at the same time every day. Hey to the person at the front desk. They know the person, where they get their salad.
There's not much to report.
Right. Yeah. And also there's not much improv they have to do throughout the day. I'm improving all day long.
Right. You've got your different versions of yourself.
I know how to dip and dive. So, as far as being single, there's that's why first date stories, they're just more interesting than,
oh yeah, so many
relationship. Yeah.
Right.
The most
we went to dinner. The date night stories.
Right.
So exciting. Everyone wants to hear about that.
I have a red flag deal breaker. Can I go over it?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay. So on the date, I went out and they go, oh my God, you look like my friend's husband. If someone says I look like someone, I immediately shell up. I don't want to hear it.
Right.
If you tell me I look like someone, it better be like so hot that I am convinced you think I'm in their phylum.
Here's the thing, right? If you were going to tell someone, and I do this too, if you were going to tell someone that they look like someone, the person needs to be more attractive than them.
Right.
An obvious more attractive than them. Like clear to anyone that you would ask if you put them side by side, the person you're comparing them to is hotter.
Right. There's no reason to bring this up other than to bring them down or like if it's medium, we hate it. Like or we look exactly alike and you've nailed it, and that happens 1% of the time.
Right.
One time someone sent me a guy that they saw on a dating app in Australia, and I was like, oh my fucking God, that is my twin. And I was like, I was like more shocked. Right.
And you texted your mom, was there two of us?
Right. Well, I sent it to my dad. My dad goes, he's in better shape than you. I was like, well, fuck off. Like, let me look. But that's the problem is like when someone acknowledges, like I did a joke when I was on the Tonight Show, one of the jokes is there was a woman that was like, I was talking about my body, and the woman yelled out, "You're not fat." And that actually happened. It was in Portland, Oregon. I was doing a joke about body stuff, and this woman yelled out to the crowd, "You're not fat." And I said that's the worst thing you could ever yell at someone who's self-conscious, because then everyone starts debating what your body is. So when you say, "Hey, you look like someone," it starts the debate, and it's like, let me live in my mind's eye.
Right.
And I'm on a first date. So it's like, oh my God, you look like my friend. And I immediately went into defense mode. Again, variables. I go, oh, he must be gorgeous. And I tried to change the subject.
Okay, you didn't want to see.
Fuck no.
Right.
I don't want to see who I look like. Yes. I don't want to see it.
It's like someone playing you a recording of your own voice.
Yeah, get out of here. Shoo, scat. I don't know who wants to see that. And I do understand the impetus. I do understand, like if I don't want to say to someone, wow, you're tall, but I do say, wow, you're tall.
Right.
When I see a tall person. Like, I can't help it. So I understand.
They're very tall, yeah.
So I understand when you see someone who looks like someone, you go, I gotta,
I tell someone, but it's like, tell someone who knows them.
Right. On a date?
Right, yeah.
It's a chance. So they go, no. You remind me of them. Oh my God. It's like, and they pull out the phone and I showed you who they said I look like.
You don't look like him. He's a less attractive
I wasn't happy about the
person
comparison.
than you.
I'm just going to, I don't need to go into,
well, I'm just saying it's like,
someone's foot.
She didn't do the rule. The rule is, again, if you're going to compare someone to someone, pick a more attractive version of them. They can't be a less attractive version of them.
Right. And then when someone shows me someone that I don't want to look like, I have to like find the way, like I have to do the mental gymnastics of placing this in a perspective where I find out a way to make it so why they thought this. And it's like, yeah, we both have thick eyebrows. Fine.
Okay.
Here's the problem.
But then you should be like, well, why do you think we look alike?
Right. Well,
describe what's so uncanny.
Yeah. What's the say?
Right.
Well, because I go, like I did the, I tried to like, but
what's the best comparison? What's the best version?
I've gotten a lot that I'm okay with that I don't agree with was Joey from Friends.
Okay, I could see that.
I don't see it.
Okay.
I've also gotten Jason Biggs. I don't see that either.
That sounds like someone who's not Jewish.
Right. Yeah. I always consider them a little anti-Semitic when they say it. I actually do. I do. As unfair as that is, I do.
mean, I don't think that's unfair. I think that if any other race or religion, people would say the same thing.
That's the thing. When you tell me I look like someone, it's not. I just find out more about how you think of me. That's where the red flag deal breaker comes in, because I'm looking at this guy. He does look enough like me. When I saw the picture, I was like, what's annoying about this lookalike is he looked enough like me that someone else could have backed this person up to be like, no, you look like him. And I'd be even more insulted. To me, it was a deal breaker, because how could I live knowing with someone knowing they see me in this person's phylum. In my mind,
you'll always that's the one thing you'll always remember.
I'll never forget it. Ever in my entire, it will haunt me till the day I die.
So,
and I'm only joking a little. Like because again, I think maybe I'm too aware from this podcast because like I know women go on dates for reasons other than attraction.
Yeah.
So I have to assume you're on this date because we had a nice conversation, not because you're attracted to me. If this is who you're comparing me to.
Unless they're attracted to that person
maybe they like their friend's husband. Maybe.
But also someone could look like someone and one of them could be attractive and one of them could be unattractive.
I don't want to know what team I'm on. If I like if you put me with 30 people that you think I look like, I don't even want to look at those 30 people.
Well, the worst thing, and I was saying this to you before, like the worst thing about told you look like someone and then you see a picture of them and you're like, on the days that I'm the most hard on myself, this is what I feel like I look like, and you're telling me that this is what I look like.
Right. And listen, I could be this person for someone else. The guy in Australia gets sent my picture and he's like, oh, how could you fucking think this? Oh my God, he's a fat fuck. This is what I look like on my worst day. Everyone is that to someone, I think.
Well, it's like, if someone sends Matt LeBlanc.
Me, right?
Maybe they're thinking, maybe that's
he's going to do a whole podcast.
For me, like sometimes people tell me I look like people who are like clearly so much more beautiful than I am, and I'm like, if I were this person and you told them that they look like me, I'm sure they'd be like, fuck you.
Who annoys you that you got told you look like?
I don't know if anyone like annoys me. You know what? Sometimes I've gotten Aubrey Plaza, which I don't really like.
Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah,
I don't see it.
I don't really see it either. I think she's just kind of like monotone, like I can be.
But you're doing the same thing I do. It's like you find the reason they must be thinking of that's the most kind to you. Like I go thick eyebrows. Get out of my bed.
I don't think she's like unattractive.
No.
I just don't really like see it. Or I remember talking about the Jewish thing. I had a boss when I was bartending in college. He was like, "You look just like Leah Michelle." And I was like, okay, that's like a nose thing, I guess, or something. Like it's like I'm the only Jewish woman you know,
right?
Who's another Jew? Who's another Jew I know?
I totally agree. Yeah. I do the same. Whenever they go Jew, I immediately think they just see, the propaganda cartoon during World War II of Jews with any Jew. Yeah. And so I get that too. But listen. So I don't know. I came in complaining. I was just like, I'm drinking too much. I'm on a first name basis with the delivery guy from a deli that is open till 2 a.m. I don't know. I'm in that pre-birthday blues.
You're calling it pre-birthday. I think it's a February thing. I'm not gonna get into it. But I do think you happen to be born also in a month. I think if your birthday was like July 28th, you might have a different birthday vibe because you'd be like out there living a summer life.
Summer life, summer body, summer vibes.
Right.
Yeah, maybe I would love to see like the Malcolm Gladwell thing on like how happy you are.
Based on what month your birthday is.
Right. There's got to be something like that.
I'm sure there is. I know there's a thing about hockey or something with that. Well, but I don't know about it.
That's like the premise of the book.
Also doesn't really pertain to us Jews.
No, not a lot of hockey.
You're never going to be a pro hockey player because you were born in...
Right. That was all based on if you were born, you would be older at the age cutoff for.
So you're more likely to be in like the advanced hockey teams. I think if you're like, I think they said like some astounding, disproportionate number of hockey players are born in like January or February.
And it was due to the cutoff date of when you could be with the younger group.
Right.
So you'd be ahead kind of physically and all that stuff.
Fascinating stuff. Love Malcolm Gladwell.
I'm a big fan. He gets shit a lot.
Really?
I guess, if you get popular, you get shit. But
yeah, who doesn't, right?
I once saw him in the West Village just having coffee, and that was a starstruck. I was a little starstruck.
He's great. I mean, he's a very distinctive look, too.
Right.
I feel like you'd definitely be able to recognize him.
Totally. So
who does he look like?
No! I don't... Listen, you want to get into the show?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's jump into it.
I thought this was fun.
Well, this is kind of this is on the subject that we're talking about, like these studies, these weird, these psychological things.
It is, and this is a New York Times article. And I mean, we can't mention the New York Times without talking about the article you were just quoted in.
I was quoted. I'm the misery in the article.
I got sent that by my brother, and he was like, "Oh, Jared's in this article." I was like, "Oh."
Well, I was mad they didn't.
No, but it seemed like the perfect article for them to interview you for, because this is like something you say over and over, which is like basically we have a whole episode. I was funny because I saw the title. I'm like, yeah, we have a whole episode where the title is why like dating buzzwords are like ruining your dating life, and that was sort of the crux of the title.
Right. It was like how therapy buzzwords and dating has combined.
Yes.
And so I did an interview with, I think, Danny Blum. I'm forgetting her name.
I don't remember.
She was very nice, and it's funny. The quote that they took out was kind of like not what I thought I was there to talk about.
Right. That happened with me in the Wall Street Journal article. And I'm like, I feel like I said a lot better things than this.
Right. Because the whole time I was kind of talking about how, like, and the one quote they took out is that I was like, yeah, men mention their therapist because they wanted more women, which I do believe. I think men aren't stupid. They see that, every woman's profile saying therapy's in, women write, I hope you've been in therapy, and you just go, yeah, fine, fuck it.
I am now.
Do one BetterHelp appointment, and then now you're done. Like, there's no more questions, So I don't know. So we got into that subject, which I do think is interesting, and it's also, like, to me, dangerous to talk about, like, because you're talking about things that really affect people.
Well, it's kind of like some people, it's true for. Like,
right, and I don't want to ever come off like I'm. And we're kind of on the subject now. It's what we're going to talk about.
Well, that's the issue, I think, with a lot of labels is that sometimes when you misuse them, you are actually doing a harm to someone. And the article that you were in talks about that. You're doing a harm to someone who's actually anxious or has, depression or has OCD. I think that's one that's people, you know what I mean? Or something like, with the dating buzzwords, like some of them are actually like scary things.
Absolutely. And it's like, I mean, ghosting's the most fun example that isn't fun, because it's like everyone feels they've been, again, like I got an email on JTrain, and it was like, it was such an interesting email because the person writing it did the thing that would crush on TikTok. Basically, she was like, can you believe this 36-year-old man-child who I hooked up with over the summer all of a sudden just comes out of the blue and is like, what's up? And I'm like, yeah, I can believe it. I can believe it totally. Like, yeah, and him being 36 has nothing to fucking do with it.
Right.
You guys hooked up in the summer. On his side, he goes, oh, it kind of fizzled. And on your side, it was a ghosting.
Right.
So can I believe it? Yeah, of course. You said yes to his naked body once. And he's going back to the Rolodex of people who have said yes to his naked body. Mm-hmm. And he's going, oh, I'll come back to this person. They were cool. They didn't get mad at me.
Right.
We're on good terms. And little does he know we're not on good terms.
He's about to find out.
Or
actually, I bet she didn't even say anything.
I don't know where, right. I don't know where it went from there. Oh, no, she said she wanted an explanation. And I was like, yeah, you're not going to. That might be fair, but then he ghosted again. She goes, if you can come back with an explanation, then he's gone. It's like, oh, I guess you were mad. Ta-ta! He runs away. So
that's no answer is an answer.
Right. And it's like, but that's the thing about these terms is like, not everyone's sharing the same terms.
Right, and not everyone defines them accurately. So this article is a guide to modern dating terms.
Okay.
So they're going through, a lot of them I knew, some of them I did not know. So I thought we could go through them. I'm going to ask you if you know what they are and how your definitions match what the Times is calling them. I also think that because the Times wrote about them, they're probably all dead now.
Right.
And cannot be used again. It's like if they said cringe or something.
Right. It's over. Like you jumped the shark, so to speak.
Right.
So should I tell you whether I've done them?
Yeah. And I'll tell you if I'm done them too.
Please. Let's do that.
Okay. Breadcrumbing. What is breadcrumbing?
Should you want me to read it, or do you want me to say what I think it is?
Yeah.
I would think breadcrumbing is making someone believe that something more is coming when it's not. So you're just leading them along.
Right. That sounds accurate. They were when someone consistently checks in with a romantic prospect, dangles the possibility of a date, and keeps them interested, but never follows through with what they really want, a relationship. With what the other person really wants, yeah. I would say even relationship is probably strong. I would say date.
Right.
Even if it's...
I've definitely breadcrumb. I'm probably breadcrumbing right now, but I don't think this is as... I think breadcrumbing is given way more weight than it deserves.
Okay.
Like, I canceled a date. Hey, I can't do tonight. I got an extra show. Can't do it. Fine. True reason. We should do another time. They wrote back, sounds good. Let me know. I'm free next week. Am I breadcrumbing if I don't make that plan?
Do you intend to?
I don't know.
Then yeah, I think you are.
Okay. So I'm saying that to me is normal.
You're keeping the option open.
Keeping the option open.
That's also is keeping the option open.
Absolutely. And I think that's how humans act. If you want to sit there and go, I was like when I see someone talk about breadcrumbing in a I'm a victim sense, I kind of don't buy their story because I'm like, that's what people do. It takes two. Right. And also I tend to believe people opt for comfort over discomfort. Discomfort is, I don't know if I want another date next week. Like, who does that?
Very few people, but you could also not say anything until you do know, potentially. Which
Fair.
I've breadcrumbed before, and I've been breadcrumbed. And you know what? Like,
I've been breadcrumbed as well.
I've been breadcrumbed many times, and I think that the older I got, the more I was like, I'm not going to answer.
Right.
That.
Well, again, so the longer you're breadcrumbed, the longer it takes you to get turned off.
Mm-hmm. Right, you know, where I'm like, I know what this person's doing.
Yeah, fuck this person.
Right. we've already spoken that hasn't led to a date. It's been 2 months. They're texting me randomly again about something random. I know I'm not answering.
Right.
And then I'm the ghoster.
Now
I've taken back the power.
Right.
I'm the ghoster.
And now they're crying to their brunch table. Yes. Can you believe? But nah, it's not. But also, especially in this world, and it's written in this article about how like the terms are coming from a place because modern dating, you have so many choices.
Right.
That I agree with because when
now we like to, because when there's so many options, you need to group things.
Right. You got to group things together, but also you have the opportunity to go, let me keep this one going because there might be another thing going. You know, every time you're on Hinge, you're back in the bar.
Right.
And that's not necessarily I'm not saying it's a good thing. I think it's a bad thing probably for me. I'm noticing my own habits.
Well, it's good. It depends on how you use them, I think. It's hard to use them in the healthiest way possible. Just like anything else that in excess is bad for you. It's hard to use it in the exact right amount.
I'm definitely not using them healthy. I can feel that.
Okay. So maybe like you take a step back, you reassess, and you figure out the best.
Right.
And I think it's funny. We talk so much shit about rules, but I think rules for yourself help you keep in line if you find yourself going, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, no one wants a rule about how many times a year you can eat McDonald's. But if you're kind of like, oh, wow, I had McDonald's every day for the past 5 nights. Like maybe my own personal rule is like, I'm not having that more than once a week.
Right. Because no, per the McDonald's example, like when I'm thinking of like, am I using healthy? Like I woke up this morning to 3 matches or 3 people who hearted me.
Okay.
And there was one that I was like, oh, and then I'm like, in my mind, I'm going, well, this happened yesterday too.
What happened yesterday?
I had a match that hearted me and I started a conversation with them. Now they moved down the page. I've moved on to the new heart. And I go, that's not healthy.
Yeah, well, that's all. I mean, the awareness is the first level, right? We're not just mindlessly consuming. All right, cobwebbing. I hadn't heard that one before.
I don't know cobwebbing. The only thing I can think of, I don't know. I haven't read it yet. Mm-hmm. My guess is that cobwebbing is, so a cobweb is something that's old.
So
hold on, I want to do a guess and then let's see how close I am.
Okay.
Cobwebbing is coming back, or no. It's going to be the dumbest thing ever. Cobwebbing is coming back to someone that you've already talked to but you haven't gone on a date with?
No. Okay. No. Cobwebbing is when an act of self-love that refers to purging any mementos from previous relationships, old sweaters, text threads, or photos in an effort to move on. I think cobwebbing is a good thing.
Cobwebbing is a good thing, but it's also a horrible name for that. Why isn't it called like spring cleaning?
Yeah. It should be called something more positive.
Right. Cobwebs, that's why I was so stuck on it. Cobwebs happen when you don't clean.
Well, I guess maybe they were saying like all these things laying around or like when you don't or like when you are.
So you're getting rid of the cobwebs? Yeah. So you're cobwebbing?
I guess. It should be called cobweb cleaning. Cleaning out your cobweb.
I actually, this phrase this cobwebbing makes me hate the person who came up with it.
Fair.
Because they're saying they're like, I'm the cobwebbing person. It's like, well, fuck off. You fucked up.
Right. I think poor name, bad name.
Right.
I think the actual part of it though, great thing to do.
Something I've done as well.
Yeah.
Clean out get rid of the stuff. Block.
I think blocking is getting rid of a sweatshirt is not as helpful as blocking. Digital cobwebbing is the move.
You know what's funny? I was thinking about like how you end up on dates with people that you're like, if you're not unfollowing someone, you haven't fully broken up.
You think?
I know.
Okay.
I know because they're gonna keep coming up, and you get reminded.
You haven't let it go.
You haven't let it go. You're seeing them over and over, and then you're only seeing them on their best pictures. You never see bad pictures. Right. You never see them. It's never a surprise. Everything is in the glow of social media posts. Because I had this where I went on a date with someone that we'd never followed. And I was like, and then we ended up kept seeing each other, like in public.
Okay. And
then we ended up going out again. And I was like, this is the version of seeing someone on stories.
Yeah. And then they respond to the story, and then you wind up going out again.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, if you see someone enough, you will go out again.
Right. Because you forget.
Right. So
why didn't this work out? Why didn't I want to date this person?
Right. We have a nice interaction here. And I was like, it's funny because it was happening in real life. So I was like, this is the same as interacting with their stories.
Yeah.
And I was like, so if you don't unfollow, you're not done.
I agree. You got to cobweb or block.
Or find a new name.
Blocking.
Yeah.
All right. Cuffing. I think we all know that one.
Right. The act of getting tied down to one partner, usually during the colder months of the year, also known as cuffing season. To be cuffed can also refer to someone in a serious relationship outside of the cuffing season. It's a really negative connotation to dating.
That's true.
Like that you've captured someone.
Right. It feels very like aggressive and like non-consenty.
Right.
Right.
Got him cuffed
up. Sounds like how like a man would describe like a negative like commitment to his friends.
Old ball and chain.
Right, yeah, the old ball and chain.
Yeah.
It's the new ball and chain. All right. Cyber flashing.
Okay.
Do you know what that is?
I guess it's showing your dick to someone.
Basically, unwanted. The act of sending unwanted sexual images to another person through digital means, such as on a dating app or social media platform, but also via text or other file sharing service like AirDrop. If you are airdropping someone a picture of your penis, then you should not be allowed to
use AirDrop,
date, or use the apps. Or
have you been on like a flight and had something airdropped to you from someone else on the flight?
No, I don't think so. I feel like I've rejected it.
Yeah, this happened more like in the early 2010s when this first came out. I didn't know you could do that, and then all of a sudden you'd receive, like on the subway it happened a lot too,
right,
where you'd like just get like a meme sent to you.
Sometimes if your phone's name is iPhone,
right,
the person could think they're sending it to someone else, and it's actually
that's a lot of empathy you're giving.
Potentially.
I thought I was sending my penis to my friend.
Oops.
Yeah, my bad.
I assume you've never done this.
No, I don't think I have.
Unwanted.
I always say I don't think.
Would you like it?
Would you like to see my penis?
Always ask.
I've sent, I always, cyber flashing is a new term to me. I was just dick pics, unwanted dick pics. I've never sent. I hope I've never sent that it was. I hope it was always wanted. Have you ever sent?
Unwanted? No.
Have you ever received?
No. I've had someone ask if I would like, and I've said no. Thank you.
So what? That must have been embarrassing for them.
I'm okay.
Good to know. Thumbs up emoji.
I'm okay for now. I'm good for now.
Good for now.
Oh my God, I had the saddest interaction with a man in my elevator yesterday as I was coming home. This guy was in the elevator with me, and he had these flowers. I mean, it was the day after Valentine's Day. And first he's trying to make small talk. He's like, what'd you get? I was like, my packages. He's like, what'd you get? I'm like, oh, I don't know, like some makeup or something. And he's like, well, like, I just got rejected. Like, I just was going to get these. He's holding flowers, like white roses.
Come on.
And he's like, do you want them? And I'm like, I'm okay. Thank you.
Oh my God. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
You should have been like, no, but I have the perfect podcast for you.
For
to
you.
Cheer you up.
Right.
Wow. So he got rejected day after Valentine's Day.
And then I was like, is he hitting on me? I'm like, or is he just want to get? I'm trying to get rid of the. I mean, I guess he's going back up to his apartment. Like,
right, they're only going to be a reminder that he got rejected.
Yeah, I'm like, but I'm not going to take.
Do you think it was the day after Valentine's Day he forgot to do something, did this, and then she was like, "No, we're fucking done. I've given you enough chances." Or
I feel like he was shooting his shot with someone, maybe. But why the day after Valentine's Day?
You can't do it on Valentine's Day. It's a little serious.
That's true. Maybe he was like...
it inspired him.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, shit. And the day after Valentine's Day, roses are like 50% off.
That's true. I was thinking that too.
So that's... that is... Oh, we got to find this guy.
I was going to take him just to keep Mike on his toes, but I didn't.
Guess who someone didn't forget the roses. We got more?
Yes. Cookie jarring.
Cookie jarring. Trying to like, I think that's like a you up text, sending a late night text to try and like dip into the cookie jar.
Not exactly. They said when a person seeks a relationship with someone else as a backup plan, in the same way that people might reach for a cookie when they want an instant treat. Someone who is a cookie jarring pursues the backup person when the one they actually want isn't available or has rejected them. We had a name for this on Betch's early days. We called it the back burner bro.
The back burner bro.
Yes.
I'll come back to you if this other thing doesn't.
Yes. Or like someone that I think in a less New York Timesy way, it's kind of like if you kind of are feeling like shitty about yourself and someone is into you. And you're like, I'm going to text that person because I know they're going to be
little
like
pick me
a little confidence boost. You're kind of using them.
Right.
It's not nice. I've done this to people.
Yeah.
Or sure, it's been done to me.
I've done this. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, this is the you up text.
You know they're going to answer.
Right. Yeah. You don't send late night texts to people you don't think are attracted to you.
Right.
Right. You send to
unless you're mass sending it out.
Right. Yeah. Which you hope you're not. But I thought there's one that they don't. Let's keep going. I've done this, and it's less mean than this makes it sound. Like, no, I want to hook up with this person. It's just I'm not. There's someone else I'm looking for more from.
I'd rather hook up with. Right.
It's like
I'd rather date.
Right. Yeah. I guess this is like, and again, like to bring this back to the point of the article of like these are happening because of modern dating and like the tools we have at our disposal. Like, it's funny. Like, well, my dad is a hero of a man. It's like, yeah, this is kind of, I think like something like this is only available because the phone exists. The tools are there for us to use. Right. And that's, and because the phone exists, maybe you're single a little bit longer. You can be alone a little bit easier. I talk about the phone as if it's my girlfriend. Like, I do think these all play into that.
I agree. Okay, they have the 3 flags: red, green, and beige. We know what a red flag is.
Right.
We talk about that all the time. A person displaying beige flags is not necessarily good or bad. They're just dull, boring, and lack effort in dating. Interesting.
I hate
beige flag.
If someone used that, I'd be like, get out of my face. I just don't like the type of person that thinks that they're somehow
right. You plan
Everest. Yeah.
Like,
go fuck
you
yourself.
Do it. All right, gaslighting. We know what that one is. Love bombing. I think love bombing is the most overused. Used incorrectly
really?
Phrase, yes.
When someone uses it incorrectly, what do you think they're doing?
I think we get so many emails on this show from women claiming they were love bombed. They'll start with, he was love bombing me, he was saying all these things, and then he wasn't interested.
Right.
That is not love bombing. Love bombing is when you are doing all these things with in an effort to And it says it in the definition, lavishing a new partner with grand gestures and constant contact while also keeping them isolated from friends and family in order to gain control in the relationship.
That's not even how I would think of it.
That's what I'm saying. The real definition of love bombing is when you are literally using that as like in a like controlling, abusive relationship to isolate someone.
Oh, I didn't even know. See, that phrase term has gotten bastardized so much.
How many women do we see right into the show? He was love bombing me. He kept saying, and then he stopped texting me. That's if he stops texting you, he's not love bombing you because the love bomber is doing that so that he can like isolate you.
Right, to have all of you.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess people are more describing like the we shoulds. Like, as we talked about on last week's episode, where you talk about like, oh, we should go for Thai one, or we should go meet my friends.
They're using it as a we should.
Right. That's not love bombing, but it is a different thing. Like the we shoulds is a different thing.
It is less like scary.
Right. I mean, this definition makes me think of like it could be a horror movie. It could be like a thriller.
Yes.
You know. So I'm not a love bomber. I'm like,
if anything, you want everyone to like go more towards their friends and family.
Get away.
Right.
Chill.
Please have something else going on besides me.
Right.
Okay. Orbiting.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that is?
No. I'm reading it right now. Go for it.
Orbiting, when someone has cut off communication with a person or they have made it clear they're not interested in pursuing a romantic relationship, yet they continue to interact with that person on social media, usually through views and likes.
Yeah.
Still follow them on Insta.
Yeah, this is or I always thought it was zombieing.
I think that's the same. Yeah, that's
same thing.
Right, sort of the same thing.
This is something that gets done to me, and I've done.
Which is why you have to cobweb them.
Right.
And block.
Clean them out.
Yeah. Riz. I haven't heard this one before. This was funny.
Someone sent this to me the other day, and I think it was probably the promo for this, and I'm like, this is a hilarious Gen Z take.
Riz.
Right. I just shot a look at Maddie. You have to.
Are you using Riz?
Are you using Riz?
Among your circle?
I had never heard that term until last week. Had never heard anyone.
See, that means it doesn't exist.
Right.
Because
who told that whoever the reporter is got some bad info.
Right. What loser Gen Z person did you interview? Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's out there and I'm just not aware, but that was...
No, but like I know the vibes. Like this just didn't speak to me.
I had never heard that one before.
Read it for the...
Riz is the newer concept, short for charisma, refers to someone's ability to flirt with and act an attractive potential love interest. This can be having an engaging personality or having an unspoken allure that others cannot resist.
This was created by a nerd who has no charisma.
They write who coined the term.
Oh, they did?
Kai Cenat, C-E-N-A-T.
Okay.
Clarified that Riz originally referred to the ability to attract someone who wasn't initially into you.
Yeah, it's a loser. Whoever came up with this is a loser because they...
Stop trying to make Riz happen.
Right.
It's not happening.
This is like an internet person who's always on the internet, can't understand.
They got the Riz.
Right. Oh, that guy's got the Riz, man. Yeah, fuck off. I hate this so much.
You're the only one using a word.
Right.
There's two ways to embarrass yourself verbally. One is to use a word that no one is using anymore.
Right.
Like on fleek or something.
Right.
Or to me, I think anyone who uses the word cringe is like kind of a weirdo, personally.
Right. Yeah, no, it's a giant oof for me.
Or you're using a term that you're trying to make happen that no one else is.
Yeah, the way I just tried to make oof a thing.
Oof is a thing.
Oof is a thing. Ugh. That's an oof. Ugh.
Ugh.
No, Riz, get out of here. It's just, to me, it screams you watching the world from your computer. You have no understanding of like, well, how does that guy must have this, and we talked about this. Charisma is people in the charm, charisma. Yeah. People on the internet hate that because they don't have it.
Right. Very few people are charming, especially on the internet.
Right.
Situationship, I think we know what that one is. And then soft launching. You know what
soft launching, posting like a finger of the person you're dating and being like, you know who took me out.
Right.
See that
what do you
fingernail?
think of soft launching?
I get it. I actually think it's a smarter thing.
Yeah.
To like, I know for everyone has a following now.
Everyone is Taylor Swift with an Easter egg.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, whether you have 200 followers or you have 500 million, you still have like you do believe it's not true, but you do believe people are going to have, you're going to have to answer to what happened with so-and-so. So you, instead of putting out, we're a thing, you put out little things. Yeah, I'm seeing someone and then
honestly,
an arm.
You kind of do have to answer to. I mean, who among us has not stalked, forget like a celebrity or an influencer. I've combed the social media pages of people that I follow that are just regular people looking for signs that they've broken up or they're getting divorced or or there's something off.
Yeah, you're interested, but you don't care.
Right.
You know, like it's not like you're like, I got to report this to the Times. You know, like it's more just like, I got nothing else to do. I want to chew on their fucking misery.
Yeah, it was really fun. Exactly. I saw a very funny meme that was like, can't sleep, need to know if this girl that I spoke to a couple times in high school is getting divorced. Right.
It's human, and I think like that's what gets left out with a lot of these phrases. They dehumanize human things.
Yeah.
So they make them good or bad or evil or whatever, as opposed to like the way we're talking about right now. It's not easy to admit that you've breadcrumbed.
Right.
It's not an easy thing to go, yeah, that's it. That's within me. And I think these phrases, when you put them on the phrase, you can go, look at that breadcrumbing, and it makes it so it's over there and not within you. Like,
right.
It's like
pretty
Karen.
much everyone has done almost all of these things. Have you guys breadcrumbed? Maddie's saying yes. Jorge's like, definitely not.
Jorge.
Jorge's pure and perfect and married to a teacher. So.
Yeah, married to a wonderful teacher and has never dated anyone and just lives a perfect life. Yeah. No, but I think it's like when you call someone a Karen. Like I've been talking on stage about like a lot about like when I see a Karen video, I'm like, everyone I got sent, I was like, the next one's going to be my mom.
Right.
And I make that joke and I can see how much I like an audience based on how much they laugh. Like if people laugh, it's an admission like, oh yeah, my mom could have been her too. And then sometimes you go in an audience and everyone's like, well, I guess your mom's one of those. And it's like, fuck off. Because like Karen becomes this, the ones you see and remember are racist and horrible, but it's like the idea that there aren't street level Karens.
Right. Like, the internet loves good and evil.
The beloved.
It doesn't love nuance. It doesn't love the idea that you've been the bad guy in some ways. Introspection.
I have some extra phrases that
Let's hear it. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't put in the ick, which I feel like is.
The ick is getting bigger.
Beaten into the ground for in vernacular.
I have. I've been coming up with the like. It's funny because now I see mine being told on TikTok by other people being like, you know what I was thinking the other day? I was like, I did that 10 years ago.
You don't want them to see. Okay, these are copyrighted.
He'll
come for you. You got your lawyer on standby.
Right.
Cease and desist.
The slow fade. I've been the slow fade. Classic slow fade.
How is that? Is that different than breadcrumbing?
Yeah, you've dated. It's different than ghosting.
Okay.
You fade into the you've hooked up. You've hung out. Or you've gone on dates and then you text less and less until you disappear like the picture on Back to the Future.
Okay.
Then there's the tapping on the window.
Yes.
I've been talking about that for years.
Yes.
When you go up to someone's...
The alley-oop.
The hookup alley-oop is a different thing. Okay. Tapping on the window, going up to someone's Instagram and liking a bunch of pictures in a row to let them know, tap, 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 I'm here.
Yes.
I'm hard. That was the tap on the window. And then there's the hookup alley-oop.
Right. Remind us what that one is.
The hookup alley-oop. So in basketball, there's the alley-oop. One guy, one person throws it up and the other person slam dunks the ball.
Okay.
So the hookup alley-oop is you're in something, but you start talking to someone else outside of that something.
Okay.
With the idea of,
if it doesn't work
I'm not being flirty, but we're talking, so that you are basically throwing an alley-oop to your future single self to dunk. Okay. So that you're in a relationship that you know is ending, so you start talking to someone else while it's ending. Kind of
like that back burner bro. What did we call it? What was that called here?
Right. The back burner bro was called cookie jarring.
Cookie jarring, yeah. Instant treat. Yeah.
Yeah, that one felt different because it was like the person's like still single. You see this a lot with people in relationships where they're like, okay.
They're lining a roster up for when they're...
Right. Even when they don't even realize they're doing it, they're doing it.
Right.
Like if you're interacting if you're sending if you're out there and someone that you know is in a relationship is sending like a response to your Saturday night going out Instagram story, That's a version of to me, that's
they're
the
not going to be in a relationship very long. Or they're a bad person. You know. We're not sure.
One or the other.
Depends how the length of time between that message sent and the actual breakup. And then mine, which I've mentioned for a while, is emotional masturbation.
Right. It feels like emotional masturbation. People are using that.
It's spreading. And boyfriend or fuck off, of course.
Boyfriend or fuck off, right? I love that.
But emotional masturbation, we've talked about this before. It's when you sort of it's like you get off to the idea of a future with someone before you're that invested with each other. Yeah,
I think superfan Rebel Wilson is tossing that phrase around.
I'm glad. I think that she should spread it around, copyright.
Right.
And
let people know where she found it.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get to some awkward sex. You ready?
Let's do it. Okay.
UUP@betches.com. I'll read it. You ready?
I'm ready.
J&J, huge fan of the pod. Hope you both return to San Francisco soon. Love, San Francisco. Woo, those hills. That bridge.
All of it.
Original Joe's.
The whole
whole
thing.
town.
Yeah.
My awkward sex story takes place a few years ago when my boyfriend of 4 years had just broken up with me. I was devastated, but thankfully had just started a new job, which was a healthy distraction. At the time, I was 24 and had an older coworker, 32, who was very attractive. So I thought some newly single, innocent flirting wouldn't hurt. Before you knew it, we were hooking up with each other almost nightly at either his place or mine. About a month in, we had just finished having sex when we noticed the condom was missing. Dun, dun, dun. We searched briefly to no avail and came to the conclusion he must have forgot to put one on. I don't know about that one. Forgot to put one on. Even if that was the case. I've never forgotten, but the idea that you've forgotten to put one on, then forgot that you had it on at all.
That's weird.
It's weird. And then went to sleep. A few days, alcohol sounds like it was being involved. A few days later, he was at my place and was going down on me when, to my horror, he came up with the used condom in his teeth.
Oh my God. A few days later. He went in there, I guess. It was half out? I don't know.
I guess it made its way out over the few days.
His teeth. He bit it?
Do I have something in my teeth?
Oh my God.
Is that, it's condom? I was absolutely mortified, had no idea what to say or do, so I laid there and waited for the good Lord to take me because I was about to die of embarrassment. Thankfully, he was an absolute gentleman. Said it wasn't a big deal. Lie, but whatever, and continued doing the job. He just took the condom out of there he was like this, and then just kept going.
Deal.
No biggie.
Good for him.
Hey, there's some trash in your vagina. No biggie, I'll just clear it out.
I couldn't find them before. What else?
Can this happen?
They're lint. I mean, I know it could happen.
A few days. You wouldn't notice if there was something in your vagina for a few days?
I think I would notice.
You wouldn't be uncomfortable?
It depends how deeply it was in there.
I'm so full, but I haven't eaten anything.
You might not feel it if it was deeply in there. But then how did it come out so? Like if it's pushed all the way up in there, it's possible.
I just don't know how deep the vagina goes.
It goes all the way to the uterus.
What's a uterus? No. The where?
Well, here's how when a man and a woman love each other.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Don't say such a thing. I honestly, this is such an unbelievable tale.
Okay.
The idea that a few days later, they're like, where'd that condom go? I guess we forgot to put it on. Then she went to work, had lunches, went to dinners, talked to her mom. Condom just hanging.
Been in there the whole time.
The whole time. She writes, we kept hooking up for another month before he moved states. I went to visit him, but got the ick when I saw he had set up his new apartment with his baby shoes and baptismal candle next to his bed as decor. Needless to say, we did not make long distance work. Wow. Sincerely, lost and found.
You can't have it all, I guess.
Right. I don't know if you're allowed to use the ick for the same guy that
pulled a 3-day-old condom out of your vagina.
Right.
Although,
I think you're out of the ick game.
It might not be her fault. It sounds like it was his fault.
I'm not willing to even cast faults here.
I think this is the only way this could be more disgusting is if it wasn't his condom.
We didn't use a Magnum. What the fuck is this? I'd be like, what? I just don't know. Like, there's a point where you can't go on your ick mountain to talk about what a loser this baptismal candle
Although
guy is.
It does sound kind of lame. But I do
lame.
agree.
I don't want a baby shoe next to my bed.
I wouldn't be so judgmental.
Right. For this guy. We can be judgmental for other guys. Like, but I
like that he kept going.
I would have kept going.
Okay.
That wouldn't, as much as I make fun of it,
Would you take it out with your teeth?
That I wouldn't do. That I'd be like, let me use my hand. You know, like.
Right, it's been sitting in there.
It's a little bit dramatic of him to like.
Like a dog with a bone.
Yeah, right. Like, look what I.
Safety first?
Right. Yeah. I guess we did use that condom.
Ugh. What do you call this?
What was the name I had? Do you have a name for it?
Maddie had the dental dam, Abracavadra.
Abracavadra.
Vadra.
I had, is there something in my teeth?
It's very funny. Are my keys in there?
Right. Well, if you want to send in yours, uup@betches.com. Well, I mean, what's the male equivalent? Like, what would you find? Like hey, I found a condom in your ass?
In the penis. Can't be like getting anything in the penis, really.
Right. It would be an asshole thing.
Yeah. Which would also be.
I guess what would you find? I mean, it would be I would hope that the guy would go to the hospital.
I feel like you would. I mean, I could. I feel like the condom can come off in the vagina more. Like that's not uncommon.
No. There's nothing uncommon. It's the amount of time.
Right. I guess it didn't come out. Usually things will like expel themselves. I guess it expelled itself in that moment.
Right. I mean, it's just amazing that her vagina is like a sewer.
Like, so sweet.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying she's
big vagina.
Big vagina.
You remember that Curb episode?
It's the best. The best. Curb big vagina.
For the YouTubers.
Right. Jordana's motioning a big vagina right now.
She's complaining about the small penis.
Right.
Meanwhile,
big vagina.
Huge.
Curb does such a great job of like showing guy talk.
Is that really what they? That's so funny.
That would be a joke.
She puts the baseball in her vagina.
Guy talk, I would say Curb does a great job of showing that like guy talk is it could sound mean, but it's not like we're looking to take down the world.
Right. It didn't never comes off that way.
Right. It's not like I need to shame this person, but someone could be shamed by this conversation.
Right. I mean, it's all relative, right?
Right.
Just like penis size.
That is true.
Have you ever thought big vagina?
It's never crossed my mind. Okay. No, it hasn't. I've of the vaginas I've seen small vagina. I've thought small vagina.
Small vagina. Too small?
It's never too small. But I've thought this is a smaller vagina than I've seen before. But I've never thought of big vagina.
Okay. Good to know.
Like I've been like, all right, here's a vagina. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's never been like, whoa, gonna have to spread myself around this one. Yeah. Gonna have to use my Nalgene to hydrate up while I go down on this crevasse.
It's great to know. All right, let's do one more. Email. Okay.
I like that I said crevasse. Expecting huge applause from the production team. Silence. Maddie was just texting. She's like, I've had enough of this conversation. Yeah, how do I get out of this job? What am I doing with my life?
Mom, he just said crevasse.
About a vagina.
I've got to can you come pick me up?
I'm going to go to law school.
Okay.
All right.
Hi, J&J. Love the pod. Been listening for years. I have a situation that I could use some advice on. I'm a 28-year-old female. I started seeing this guy right before the holidays, and things have been moving quick.
Woo!
We see each other at least 3 times a week and act like boyfriend, girlfriend. He has been wanting to DTR since week 2, but I thought it was too early, even though I'm very into him. Recently, we had a conversation about traveling and the fact that I love traveling and he hates it. FYI, Jared, I'm calling you out because you always say that's a boring item to list on a dating app because everyone loves traveling. LOL.
Okay, fair. I'd say it's weird to hate traveling. Would we agree?
I would say it's uncommon.
Well, here, I guess it's uncommon. I agree. And it's also...
I know like one or two people that do not like to travel.
Well, here's my issue with it on a dating app is not that everyone loves to travel, but it says very little about you.
I agree. It's not like a unhot take.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not personal.
Right.
Hey, had the best, because also your life, you're going to travel together, but you're probably not packing up the van and driving across the country together. So if you plan on living in an RV, that's not traveling. That's a lifestyle decision. That is personal. So I love to travel is just a nothing.
I agree. It's a little boring.
Yeah.
Just like I love pizza. Okay. What are we going to do with that?
Thanks, Michelangelo.
This has made me question if we have enough in common in common among a few other things. For example, I'm a huge foodie and he doesn't care to go out to restaurants. Since a few weeks in, he has been the first one to say things like, I'm falling for you. Wow. Okay. He was The Bachelor?
Right.
I'm falling for you?
I could see myself falling for you. Yeah.
Potentially.
In a world.
He made a drawer for me at his place and he even asked me if I wanted to get dinner with his parents. We had a conversation about if he would hypothetically compromise when it came to traveling. Like 50% would be stuff he wants to do and 50% stuff I want to do. He got defensive when I used the word compromise because he came out of a 6-year marriage about 2 years ago, and I guess he was the one who had to do all of the compromising. Now he's pulling back and saying he's not sure he's ready for a relationship, which is extremely confusing. He wants to slow things down and wait to see if he'll be ready for a relationship in a few weeks. Okay. It's weird. Yeah. I understand that it's just so like post-divorce guy doesn't know how to do anything. Like just can't even break up with someone correctly. I'll see if I'm ready in a few weeks.
Right. That doesn't get unpacked enough. Like the mental toll that a divorce takes on a guy. I mean,
how he's
just I don't know. Like, I think they're more fucked up than they want to believe.
I'm sure.
I think a lot of guys are just not. We talked about the therapy thing, but like, I don't think a guy's like, I gotta make sure I go to therapy after this divorce. Like, I think
probably should.
They probably should. Yeah. You've been through a traumatic, like an event. Yeah. Like, they're probably like, no, I'm gonna go on the apps and see what I can fucking do.
That's how I'm doing this time around. Right? Yeah. Should I understand that it's not even 2 months in and things should be lighter, but he has made things feel very serious since the beginning, and it doesn't feel great to hear that he was completely changed his mind. I'm also aware that I should probably just end the relationship, quote unquote, but I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around the situation. Can someone love bomb you and then change their mind? Sincerely, a cute, confused bitch. All right. We already discussed that she's using the word love bomb incorrectly.
Right. He said things that...
This is what I like to call... I think she's... I know we didn't discuss this term. She's using love bombing. I would call this and I would call this a bait and switch, which I think is really what's going on here. The bait and switch happens very frequently. You feel like you're being chased. You finally agree to be as into it as they are, and then they pull back.
Right. They trying you on as a girlfriend, and then I don't know if these pants fit well.
Now that I have it, now I can decide if I want it.
Right. This is the, when they send you the box, this is of clothing that you can try on at home.
Stitch Fix?
This is a Stitch Fix situation.
Yeah.
What do you think? Because I look at this and I go, this guy,
How long is he out of this divorce? He came out of a 6-year marriage 2 years ago.
I just don't like when someone has like the idea of like, I don't travel, you travel. Like, okay, I to me, that's a little too cut and dry to make sense. Like I go, well, what would you like to do on a vacation? Is different than I don't travel. Like, right. I mean, honestly,
it almost sounds like he's coming because how long have they been dating? How many times could this have possibly been an issue yet?
Right. They've been dating since before the holidays. It started really quick, they said.
Right. But they have like, how often is she traveling or he not traveling to make it like that big of an issue already? Right.
And I guess and that's where it comes down to like this discussion of like, do you travel? I hate travel. Well, I love travel. Like that's very much The Bachelor, like you mentioned, where it's like we have to talk in hypotheticals and then we go, could I handle this? And it's like, well, what are we? How about we describe the trip we would take?
Right.
Where would we go? And the idea that she's now so stuck on, you don't travel, I don't travel, I do travel. So if we do a trip, it's got to be 50%. your type of travel, my type. It's like, well, what do we do together?
Right.
You're not speaking in we terms right now. And that's the worrisome part to me, is that you're like, he's like, well, like even she's doing it. Well, he doesn't travel and I do. I don't know if I could be in a relationship that this guy doesn't travel. It's like, well, if I was in a relationship, like I would prefer to go to Puerto Rico than Cabo. Mm-hmm. Like if someone was like, let's go to Tulum, I would, and I've said this on this podcast, I'd be like, I'm not going to fucking Tulum. It's a 2-hour drive from the airport. I don't want to spend 2 hours of my trip driving to Tulum. I would rather one flight to Aruba, 4 hours. I'm there by 1 o'clock. We're done.
Right.
And it's direct flight. Look at and now the way I'm talking about a vacation, someone could hear me talking about that and going, that's not for me. That's not the vacation I want to take. Yeah. You know, and those are just two people with two different vacation vibes.
Yeah, and I think like what happens sometimes is when she's talking about like he's so quickly so into it, and for a lot of women it's like, oh, sooner is better. Sooner means better immediately. But the reason people don't immediately decide that they want to be in a relationship with someone and become exclusive with them after a few dates or get hot and heavy so quickly is because they don't really know them yet.
Right.
So she's like, so we decided we want to be with each other, and now we have to figure out if I actually like him. Like, now that I know who he is, am I still interested?
Right.
It's like, that's why maybe she should have been a little bit more when he's like, I'm falling for you. She could say, I'm still getting to know you.
Right. Right. And I think, why does he do this? It's probably because of the divorce thing. Right. Where he's like, he probably wants to cut to that part where he's already comfortable with someone and already like in a relationship with them. Right. And then the guys who do this aren't acknowledging how big of a thing it is or a bigger thing for women to call a guy her boyfriend.
Right.
Like, it is a bigger deal to her to call someone a boyfriend than for him to call her his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like, if, I've made this mistake where you go, come, like, or I'll be like, come, we'll go down to Florida. My parents are there. You want to meet them? And I'm like, it's totally like whatever to me.
Oh, yeah. Well, someone else would probably be like, well, he's introducing me to his parents.
Right. And it's like, you have to acknowledge that, like, dude, you might be falling for this person, but you have to have some like tact with it.
Right.
You have to be respectful of like what and listen.
If you're leading someone on.
Right. And how much this means to you, because for you to be 2 weeks in, as she wrote, since week 2, he's been wanting to define the relationship since week 2. Like, that's nice. But at the same time, that's like, on the surface, it's nice. But if it doesn't matter to you, you're just doing this to like organize your life. You kind of have to let that person know. And I think that's kind of what he was doing.
Right.
Like, this was organizationally sound for him. He takes a lot of, like, being single.
Why does he back out though?
Because he goes, now I've seen it and I can back out. And it really, there's no social.
And now she's saying, let's compromise. And I can pull the divorce card. And
what do you mean?
Because she's saying, you want to compromise in the travel. And he's like, compromise.
Right.
Like,
you're reminding me of my ex. Yeah. Right. And he has an easy excuse to get out of it. And no one really looks at him and goes, well, what happened with the girl? Post-divorce. I'm trying to figure it out. Like, and everyone
she wanted to compromise.
She wanted to, yeah.
One of those.
One of those compromising bitches. Yeah. I hear why she's like upset and is just like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, and I think it goes back to what you said. You don't know each other enough, so you don't care to negotiate with someone.
Right. And where I think that a lot of, with the bad, I mean, I do think it's wrong of him to just say things he doesn't mean. And again, that bait and switch thing of like, I'm falling for you. This is real. We should do all these things. And then the person's like, okay, yeah, let's go for it. And they're like, wait,
hold on.
Let me take a few weeks to think about it.
Right. You like to travel?
Right.
What? Right.
I don't know if I'm ready. Right. Yeah. I don't know if I can compromise.
Right.
On that.
Yeah.
50% what you want to do. What?
What? Who? Half and half? That's not even.
Yeah.
It is. I don't know what to tell
I'd be
her.
wary. I mean, that's the thing. It's like easy in, easy out. So like sometimes it can feel like, I don't think it should be so difficult to get into a relationship with someone, but if it's too quick, a lot of those things, they burn hard and fast and then they're done. It's like a firecracker relationship.
He's also just not ready. You should
tell him to go to therapy. Work out that, because if he's responding to a compromise, if let's say it's take him at his word, let's say he's so triggered by her asking him to compromise, that's someone who has shit to work through.
Right. I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, like I've been overly communicative lately, and it's so hard to do that, but I know and then you're going, but this is good.
Yeah.
Like I was showing,
you're pretty good at it.
I've been getting better. I think I've been doing a better job. And I was telling a friend last night, I was showing her like a text that I sent to be like upfront with someone, and I was like, it was just so hard. And they're like, yeah, this is called communicating. Like it was like they're like
with the listening.
Right. It was like I was like, man, I've had this conversation before. Like, and I'm like, and it isn't.
No, it's good. More that'll prepare you really well for a relationship.
It's hard though. Like and it doesn't. I mean,
you're doing it a lot.
I'm doing it a lot. But I mean, we just taped the You Up Sunday special for coming out this Sunday. Mm-hmm. And we had a guest on. It was our first male call-in.
SOS caller,
SOS. And we all acknowledged afterwards how the women versus the men.
Just better at communicating.
Way better. And how I could see in him the same thing, like this, like it hurt. Like I do it sometimes on this show where I'm like, and I say to you after the show every time, what do I always go, did I say anything bad?
Yeah.
And and a lot of men just have no experience. We're freshmen.
Well, you're not sitting with your friends and talking about how the date made you feel, and do you think she's gonna call again? And what do you like? That's not what you're talking about. So I get it. You have a lot less practice.
Right. Every woman that I've met, my friends and I think we should have a podcast. Yeah, because you're podcasting at your fucking brunch table every time you're doing You Up. You know, like. Yeah. So but I
think you're pretty good at it.
I'm okay. I'm trying
as men go.
But I saw it in our get. I'm pointing to the screen that we watched him on. But he was like a very nice guy. But you could tell, like, I was even trying to say things for him that he didn't know how to say.
It's hard. I get it. Yeah, and I don't blame any man for not knowing. That takes a lot of practice. Like even with Mike, like sometimes if I get into a fight with a friend or someone that does something that really annoys me, and I'll bring out the thing and I'll show him the evidence and I'll play the voicemail and I'll be like, I don't need to see, like, I'm sorry.
Right. You're right.
I'm like, and wasn't it fucked up when she said that? Like on this message, he's like, yeah, you know, that's just how she is.
Right.
That's just what she does.
Right.
I'm like, this is not fun.
Right.
This isn't fun to get into with you.
Well, this is a good preview for this Sunday's episode. You guys can watch our friend Danny squirm a little bit, but he was great. But it is, and this isn't me saying let all men off the hook. You know, like this guy, if you presented him with this married guy with like, here are the facts. 2 weeks in, if you showed him a timeline, 2 weeks in, you wanted a relationship. I bring up a compromise of a vacation, about a hypothetical travel situation. Right. You tell me I'm acting like your wife because I'm communicating compromise, which is called a relationship. Right. Everyone that talks about relationships says the key is compromise. Where on this timeline am I the weird one? And he would go, I think he would go, and I do think I tend to look towards the positive in people. I think you go, yeah, I'm a fucked up dude.
Good. Now, what's he going to do about it?
End it.
Yeah. I mean, it's always interesting to go out with someone and they're out of a breakup and then they do something where you're like, I kind of get why they were not interested. I just get why this didn't work.
I mean, anyone listening to this podcast can see why I've had my own issues.
No, not you.
I'm one of those people. It's okay. Let's play some games. Ready to play some games? Let's get into Faux Pas or Not, presented by Faux Pas Can Cocktails. Every single Faux Pas can is based on a tried and true cocktail. Vodka soda, marg, tequila soda, mule. You can't go wrong, and it goes without saying on this show that we're into keeping it real, which is why there's only real vodka or real Blanco tequila and no artificial flavors or gluten in these drinks. Now let's keep it real with some Faux Pas or Not. I'm sitting here with a Faux Pas in front of me, the grapefruit and orange tequila soda.
Tequila soda is my fave, but I also love the vodka soda. They're so light.
They're light.
So
they're
refreshing.
Great drink. It brings you to a place,
I can't wait for summer.
I'm ready.
Brings you to a summer.
Summer vibes.
Yes.
It's just a great drink. Over ice.
Drink
Chef's
of the summer.
kiss. Let's
Drink
do
of the
it.
spring.
Drink
Okay.
of the All right, ready?
I'm ready.
Hi, Jared and Jordana. Faux pas or not for you. He shows up late and sweaty to the first date. Context. I was meeting this guy off of Hinge for a first date. We had tried to make multiple times work, but ended up agreeing to do Wednesday drinks at 8 p.m. He gave me a heads up that he may want to eat too, so as he'll be coming straight from a squash match. Kind of niche. Is that niche? I guess so.
A little bit. Squash is not that common. It sounds rich.
Right. Anyway, he had confirmed the day before and where and when. And I got there appropriate 5 minutes late and messaged him. Time ticks by. At first, I was like, maybe his squash match ran late. But then also, surely he had planned at least like 15 minutes in between so he could get ready and shower before. By 8:20, I thought I had been stood up when he texted apologizing, saying his match ran late and he understands if I've left, but he'll be there in 5 minutes. Figured I might as well go since I was still in the area and taking the effort to get ready already. It turns out he definitely was not lying or exaggerating about the squash match just ending because he showed up legitimately just dripping in sweat. Ha ha ha. Like fully dripping down his face, clearly had not showered or anything. Somehow he still looked cute though. The second possible faux pas or not, 2-for-1 deal. The second possible faux pas or not was that he said he would get a non-alcoholic drink after we originally planned to go for just drinks and ordered a virgin. What's that?
I know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I'm not happy about this. Virgin Bloody Mary. That is serial killer shit.
That is weird.
What is he on a flight?
Michael, tomato juice.
Yeah, that's a big flight thing.
Yeah.
Essentially, he was drinking tomato soup. Keen to hear you guys' thoughts. The rest of the date went great. I'm actually seeing him tonight for dinner and gelato. So clearly things weren't a big enough faux pas for me. Love the pod. What do you think? Which of those gets you out?
The sweatiness or the lateness?
So there's lateness,
he texted
there's
that he was
sweatiness.
going to be late, right?
No, he texted after being late that you probably already left, but my match ran long. Okay. Here's the thing: you can
it happens.
It happens, but you can stop a match. You know, you're doing an extracurricular activity.
Right.
It's not like you're at. I guess you put your phone in your locker when you start playing.
I can see how it might happen, or like you're trying to wrap it up and the person's like just trying to get you to finish the game. Oh, come on, we'll finish. Like what? I could see a world, and actually, I'm almost more impressed that he didn't shower because I'm like, okay, he's like really hustling, like he's sweating. Right. He's actually was really hustling to be here. He felt bad. I mean, it depends how badly he felt about it when he showed up.
Right. It's not having.
Did he get a drink though?
He could have had a drink. Yeah. Get into the fucking date.
Yeah. I agree. It's like you don't want to seem like you're stopping by on your way home from the gym.
Right. Now I'm on your... Like, where does this end?
Yeah. That would be annoying. I think all of it together is a nah.
Yeah.
But if he was just a little late, I wouldn't really mind. If it was really late, apologetic, and then he ordered a drink and was like, I'm here, let's have fun. Like,
right. Why is he so cool about being late and things running long when it's on the squash court? But then he's not flexible at all when it comes to having a drink.
Right. Don't order a Virgin Bloody Mary on it.
A Virgin Bloody Mary? That is insanity.
Yeah.
You're all hot and sweaty. Let me recharge with some tomato soup cold.
Yeah.
Like, it's like that's the time you want a Gatorade.
So we're opposite situation. It's a woman. She's showing up.
She's
sweating profusely. She hasn't showered.
Right. Here's the thing. Lateness doesn't really offend me.
Okay. Because you're with your phone.
Because I'm with my phone.
Right.
You gave me some extra time. I'm usually, on a dating situation, I'm usually like, hey, I have a show at 8:30. Mm-hmm. So like, I try my best. Maybe I've not said this in some, but I've tried to be better about it. Like, hey, here's my cutoff. Here's my out. Mm-hmm. I have to be out by 8:30. So like, to me, if they're late, I'm like, hey, I told them when I had to go anyways, right. And I hate that I'm usually the one cutting out. So, yeah, the lateness doesn't bother me as much as it bothers some people. I know that.
The Virgin Bloody Mary would be where you were out?
That's where I would be out. That where you rush to me and then, okay.
On the
water? Sorry,
I'm so hot. Gatorade?
You got any Clamato juice? Right? Like what?
Yeah.
Hey, hey, you have any lentil soup? I'm really tired from the right? Hey, I'm really hot and sweaty. You have any meatball parm?
Oh my
Help
God.
me get back to full strength. Like, it's just a weird, any split pea? Like.
I agree. It's not.
That's where it
not
bothers
good.
me.
Yeah. All right. So we're both a nah?
Nah,
We're
bro.
out. We're out. Okay.
All right, let's do another one. Go ahead.
Faux pas or nah, the guy you've been seeing for a few months says he wants to give dating and exclusivity a try with you, but asks what day it would officially start. Today or some date we pick in the future. Background.
I love this. Hey, how about we start next week? I got a few dates left before we lock this up.
He's accepted a job offer.
Right. I want to take a couple weeks off before I start my start date. Yeah, I got a couple things. I got a few chicks I want to fuck before we actually get this going.
Background. I've been seeing this guy for about 2 months, and a mutual friend told me he knew for a fact the guy I was seeing wasn't looking for anything serious anytime soon. It surprised me because we'd been spending a lot of time together. He was planning dates, talking about the future, etc. To figure out what was going on, I asked the guy I was seeing to let me know if he was looking for a relationship at some point in the future or just fucking around. He said he had to think about it. I mean, the balls on this guy.
I like him.
Honestly, there is something to be said for his truthfulness.
Right.
He's not lying.
He could have said, I don't know, which is like bullshit.
He said, let me think about it.
Let me think about it is better answer than I don't know.
I agree.
Right. Like if he was,
I'm going to give you an answer.
And
I'm
honestly,
taking it seriously.
I'm taking it seriously. I am now. It doesn't feel great,
right?
Because now it's like, okay, are you going back to like a graph,
right?
like what? You have a big whiteboard with my
numbers,
right?
Yeah.
So I respect it, even though it's.
I do think it's if it works out, he's a straight shooter.
Yeah.
When I brought it up a week later, he said he thought he wanted to date me, but he had to end things with some people first. I have some loose ends. Why not just end things and then come back and say I'm...
Well, it's not good for what we just said. We were like straight shooter, and then she's like, well, a week later, hey, have you thought about it? Like, at that, to me, okay, Jordana, you say to someone, are you looking for a real relationship or not? And they go, let me think about it.
Okay.
How many days are you giving them? Like, I don't blame her a week later being like, hey, I asked a question.
I think a week later is when I would say it. Maybe
I think you get 24 hours. How much more time? How much time does this guy fucking need?
Fair, fine. He gets 24 hours. When I brought it up a week later, he said he thought he wanted to date me, but he had to end a few things with some people first. I was surprised by this, so I said I actually wasn't sure I was ready to be boyfriend or girlfriend yet, and I more just wanted to check we were on the same page and thinking about things the same way.
She shouldn't soften her stand. I don't like what she did.
Yeah.
Well,
she's like, I just want to know if you're open to it. It's like, yeah, of course, everyone's open to it,
right?
Hypothetically.
She's straddling.
But I also said that if he's regularly seeing other people enough to basically have to break up with them, I'm probably not comfortable with that either. And that's when he said, well, I could stop sleeping with other people, but does that have to start tonight? Or can we pick a date in the future to start this?
Okay. I mean, he's being so honest, it hurts.
Yes.
But there's a problem.
It's so funny because we're always like, you can't say like this to someone. Right. He's like, he's saying it.
He's saying everything. Yeah. And she's writing to us. Hey, I have to check in with my podcast to see if this is okay or not. Like, here's the thing. It's funny that if he had done this differently, it would show that he actually likes her. So if she was like, hey, I'm looking for a relationship. I wanted to see where your head's at. And he's like, I got to think about it. And then if she had called a week later and been like, hey, do you have an answer for my question? And he was like, I just spent the week tying off loose ends. I'm going to commit to this.
That would have been the time period to be doing that.
Right.
Yes.
That's when you do it. So to me, it's like you're pestering him and he's coming and he's being annoying by not like just being like, yeah, I don't want this.
What must it be like to get this guy to put this toilet seat down?
Right. Well, do you want it down tomorrow or is there a time
next week?
Right. Yeah. When does toilet time start? Yeah. It's like all of this is to say what he's doing is buying time for you to maybe forget that you've asked these questions, as annoying as that sounds. Like, because at this point he should have been like, hey, you obviously want something different than me. And it's taking me so, like, here's an example.
Right.
Sometimes I'm on Hinge and it'll have that suggested person. And I'll spend the day looking at the suggested person from their algorithm. Mm-hmm. And I'll go,
think you'd be a good match.
Right. We think you'd be a good match. And I'll open the app and I'll go, maybe.
Would we?
Right. And then I close the app. Then I open the app an hour later. I'm looking at it again. Close the app. Later that day, open the app again. And I say to myself, Jared, if it took you 3 times opening the app,
you're not that into
it. Press the X and move the fuck on. I have to have that conversation with myself. It's the same thing as this dude.
Right.
Like how many you've revealed, hey, I'm looking to put my mind towards this. She takes it back by being like, oh, I'm not looking for a boyfriend or girl. No, I'm looking to.
You're right. Yeah.
I'm looking to concentrate on what we're doing.
Yeah.
And
I agree. Don't soften it to make yourself seem cooler.
Right. And this guy is sitting there going, closing the app. Closing the app. Dude,
give me a week.
Got a few women to fuck. I've been really trying to.
Summer's coming up. Let's reevaluate in the fall.
Right. Circle back.
All right. Nah. So it's a nah. We're on a nah page. Okay.
Let's do one more. We've gone long. This has been a fun episode.
Yeah, we've had a good time.
We got to get going. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Hello. I have a recent faux pas or not for you. Met a guy on Hinge right before I went on a long weekend vacay. So we texted for a while before we met up. First date was fine, but didn't really feel anything special. I figured I shouldn't be dumb, should give a second date a chance. Less than a week after our first date, the guy texted me randomly saying, oh, I don't know if this is important to you. It is to me, but I deleted my Hinge. I immediately got the ick, but as a 30-year-old who has dated plenty of guys who aren't interested in something serious, I thought I should appreciate him being intentional. Needless to say, my ick grew, and I canceled our second date the day before it was supposed to happen, telling him I wasn't on the same page as him. So is telling a person that you're dating that you deleted the apps after your first date a faux pas or not, as opposed to just deleting the apps right away, but at least not telling them. Thanks, guys. Love the pod. A Boston Betch. Hi, Jared.
What do you think? If she was so far off that she was like, I can understand you have like the most incredible first date ever. And the person's like, just so you know, like I had so much fun on our date. I'm not seeing anyone else.
Right.
And again, it would have to be like so obvious that you both were like so incredibly into it. Like a 5-hour long first date or something.
Right.
Where I think it's kind of like cute if you're into it, creepy if you're not.
I kind of think it's manipulative.
You think?
To be honest, I think... Especially it's a guy, girl. He knows this is saying something.
What if it was like an incredible first date?
Here's what I would say. I think this is okay I think what they said is like, at least you don't have to tell me. Like,
right.
If he had just like been like, wow, that was so much fun. Like he doesn't need to do this. If he had a fun first time, hey, let's dig in. I'm going to go to the second time. Like it's actually like, it's like faux vulnerability to me.
You think?
I kind of know. Like, I really do believe this. Like, what? Because
I think it is. I agree with you, just because she clearly was so far off from the first page,
right?
Being on the same page,
right? Like she should. If he had such a good time and knew she had such a good time, I don't know. I just don't. I agree with that, but I also think like from his perspective, it's like, how nice would that be? Like if you go, hey, I had a really good time. I'm being being intentional is like owning your own feelings and like going.
Wasn't that what he said? I deleted the apps?
He said but I'm saying he could have just gone on a second date. What if they went, like, I think this is a nice thing to tell someone after the 5th date, you guys are laying in each other's arms and you go, hey, I know this is quick. It's a fit. We've only been on 5 dates, but I'm deleting the apps and I'm going to concentrate on this. And
I think second date, she says about the first date was fine, but didn't feel anything special.
Right.
So like, that to me is the faux pas, that he's clearly misread this so much.
Right. But maybe he read it and he was like, I want to make sure she goes on the second date, so I'm going to say
that's what you're saying. That's when I agree with you. When he's
right.
like, that's like some weird manipulative tactic to like try to show her that I'm serious about her, even though she's not. Like, it's so funny because that would clearly make you go the other way.
Right.
Like, I agree with her. If I went on a date that was like fine at best and the guy was like, and I thought maybe I would accept a second date, but he texted me that he deleted the apps, I'd be like, oh, creepy.
Right. Look, it's creepy. Yeah. I just don't know. Like, even if she was on the same page, I'd be like, let it breathe. You know,
like play it cool. Don't
play
be so
it
desperate.
Cool. Right. A little despy.
Definitely a lot despy.
Lot despy.
But I mean, there are people who meet each other and get married the same night.
Yeah. That's what the person who got married in one night tells people.
I mean, no, I'm just saying, like, there's, if it was like some crazy, like, what is the Pam and Tommy thing where they like get married that weekend?
Right.
Like, I think it's like, it's possible, but it would have to be so incredibly obvious.
But even when it is possible, like, I even think of like, if it worked out and they were like, the first night he told me he deleted Hinge, I'd be like, fuck this dude. I'd be like, what a fucking loser. Like, dude, own that, like, if the story came to me that, like, I just was on a date with her, I was so, like, a friend of mine that I liked, like a good friend of mine, if they ever said to me, I went on this date, I was like, fuck it, this is great. This is where I felt very comfortable. And then, like, I deleted the apps, but I didn't tell her. And then, like, a month later, she's like, I deleted the apps too. I would be like, right, oh, that's a normal story.
Yeah, no,
like,
I agree.
I would believe that story. If I heard from a friend and then I called her and told her I've deleted the app, I'd be like, you fucking loser. Like, I would say that to a friend.
That's fine. Yeah, I agree. Delete it. Just don't say anything.
Right.
If you're really into it.
Nah,
that's
from
fair.
me, dog.
All right, that's fine. It's fair. It's a nah.
We solved dating again, Jordana.
We did it.
In a quick 90 minutes.
And you know what? We dove right into the meat of this episode.
Right.
And you know what the biggest faux pas you can make is? Not having faux pas stocked and ready to go for your next girls' night or date night in or any, the weather's like warm today. What a perfect day to crack open a faux pas. I guess it's a different day by the time you hear this, but still. My favorite flavor is the margarita, the spicy mango margarita, and also the vodka soda because they're just so easy to drink. They taste amazing. They look fun. And you just feel light. Like the cans are so light that you feel lighter just like holding it.
It is just, it cools me down. Like, this room gets hot when we tape.
It does.
And I'm literally holding this being
wow.
like, I want to chug the whole fucking thing.
Same.
If I didn't have shows tonight, I would be like just downing this.
I want to transfer it right into my bloodstream.
Right. Just put it in my veins.
Visit www.fauxpascocktails.com to find your favorite faux pas near you. That's FAUXPAS, and follow @DrinkFauxPas on Insta so you don't miss out on any of the tea/tequila. And that's it for us. We'll be back with a special You Up SOS on Sunday.
Back on Sunday. Boom.
The You Up podcast is produced by Sean Kilby, Maddie Paul, and Jorge Morales-Pico. Editing by Jorge Morales-Pico. Social media by Maddie Paul. Be sure to follow @u.up.podcast on Instagram and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.